Alright guys, so we've done all these different collar sleeve positions. Now I'm going to introduce another type of control. This is collar and elbow control. This is again one of my favorite types of control to play in open guard. You'll see this utilized by so many high-level athletes, okay? And you'll see the mechanics of it, alright? So remember before when we were here, one of the very basic things we did was when he held my collars, and I grabbed his collar and elbow before, we started attacking submissions, right? So now what's going to happen? Noah's going to bring his leg forward and the back leg back, like this. So this one, I'm attacking the submission like before. He's holding my collar. I went under his arm. I started going for these submissions like before. And now Noah's going to take this leg and lead it forward and bring this leg back, like so. Now he's going to let go of that arm and we're going to end up in this position here. So I'm going to be in a De La Hiva leg configuration, because he brought that leg forward, right? And I have a collar and elbow control, all right? This is a great position to begin attacking it, all right? And I just want to show you some attacks I like to do here, all right? So I'm going to show you that in the next segment. I just wanted to introduce you to this guard. It's same side collar, elbow control, and I have a De La Hiva hook in. And my head is still aligned with it, right? So let's get on now with this collar and elbow control. Alright, so I'm going to be here with Noah. And I'm going to have the same side collar and this elbow. Now, what I'm going to show you guys is this. Remember how I said previously, this same side control with the collar and spider was really cool because I'm able to keep his head aligned with me. So I can kind of force him square with me. So what does that mean for us with this collar and elbow control? That means that as he tries to transfer his head to any direction, I can move him square. He moves his head this way, I can move him square. Alright? What benefit does that give to us? The benefit is that I could sit up now and I could pull him forward now really efficiently because I'm able to alter his base square with me. Alright? So what is the first move we're going to do? The first move we're going to do is I'm going to have his elbow and his collar like so. I'm going to close his elbow. I'm going to put pressure on him. I'm going to raise up, opening my elbows, and now I'm going to overhead sweep him to mount. Alright? This is one of my favorite overheads to do, guys. Grabbing the elbow, forearm in this area, and just flipping him over my head. It's so strong. Alright? So again, I'm here. And he can't alter being square with me now because I have the same side collar. That's what's really nice about this. Alright? So I'm here, he holds my collar. I go under, I'm here, he leads with that leg. I go De La Hiva. I hold this collar. Now I'm in this spot here. Alright? Guys, remember, my right foot is directly where? On his ASIS, his hip bone. Just like before when we had both feet on his hips. Just like before when we were in spider and collar sleeve. Directly on the hip bone is our frame on his body. I'm square with him. Alright? So now he cannot remove my foot from his hip. Look how my knee faces my head just like collar sleeve. My knee and foot are the same line again. My hips stapled down. Alright, so now what I do? I close his elbow. I put pressure on him. And now I'm going to bring his head over my body, opening my elbows. And now look how easy it is for me to lift him. And now I can bring him over my head and sweep him to mount. Alright, so again, I'm here. He holds under, foot on the hip. I put pressure, I bring his head above me. I flip him over to mount. Again, I'm here. Those ankles. Arm under, he leads with that leg. I put pressure, I lift him over me. I bring him to mount. This is probably the most used Tomonagi that I use in training. I feel like it's the strongest one, alright? So I want you to work this now, I'll keep going from there. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you the next variation from this same side collar elbow control, alright? I always use these two like directly correlated, like 1, 2, 1, 2. And it always works the same way. Alright, so watch. I'm going to be here with Noah. Double ankles, collars, arm, elbow, right? I'm going to begin to lift Noah up, and he's going to put all his weight on his butt and legs, alright? So the second I see this, I'm going to be right here. Before I'm trying to move his torso weight, right? As he puts weight on his butt, I'm going to move all my weight toward his butt. So I'm going to push his butt backwards. And remember, he's squaring me, so what am I allowed to do? I can't lift him now, so what can I do? I can push him forward like this. Alright? So you see how easy this is? This requires no strength or flexibility. It's because as I lift, he puts weight on his butt, I lift myself up, like so. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to close his elbow in, I'm going to turn his head like so, and now I forced him on the side. Now look how he falls. You guys see that? So we're going from the square stance to seated to sweep him to the side. This is one of my favorite ways to sweep him, guys. And remember, because I have this same side collar, I can keep him square with me, right? But because I have the same side collar, I could also alter him to the side. So we transferred him from the square world, where it's forward and back motions. We use that to get seated. Once we're seated with him, now I could just tilt him to the side, closing his elbow and head, making him fall, right? Because look what happens. Just go on one knee. As I'm seated with him here, and I bring his elbow in, look how there's nothing exceeding his head. You guys see this? It's like all the basic sweeps you keep learning. Look how his hip is here and nothing exceeds it. So the second I do this, look how he falls. Right on his hip, because nothing exceeds it. Alright? So again, here, collar, elbow, de la Riva. I try to lift, he puts weight on his butt, I sit up. I close his elbow, I turn his head. I go to my side, and now he falls on his hip. And now I come up. Alright? Over time. Over here. Collar and elbow. I put pressure. I try to lift. I can't. I close his elbow in. I turn his head. And now I tilt myself to the side. Sweeping him to the side. Alright? This is a basic side sweep with the collar, the same side collar and elbow control. I want you to work this now. I'll keep going from there. Listen. Alright, guys. So this is going to be an introduction to another leg configuration, collar, hand control that I'm going to be doing. This is going to be my other favorite guard. This is my favorite guard on the legs, de la Riva. When I'm holding the ankle with my hand and I'm holding a cross collar grip. Alright? Conceptually, it's identical to everything we just learned, okay? And I'm going to show you guys how we're going to get into de la Riva, and then I'm going to show you guys our system that we have from there as well. But it's not a particular system. It's literally me just following all the same concepts we've been doing every second. Alright, so watch. I'm gonna be here with Noah. He opened my guard, right? He's holding double collars. I go for the double ankle control. But this time, Noah's gonna back this leg up and I'm gonna lose this grip, okay? So his torso's still forward, but I lost my grip on his ankle, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to switch my hand from his ankle, which I lost, and I'm going to control his collar, alright? And now I'm going to apply a de la Riva hook in, alright? So now let me explain to you the mechanics of this guard, of de la Riva, alright? So come here. So whenever you do de la Riva, everyone focuses on this, just wrapping their foot around the leg. I want you to look at my knee when I'm doing this. Look how weak my knee is if I just put my toes in like so. No, I just push down my leg. Look how weak I am, alright? What I need you guys to do is, I need you, when you do the de la Riva hook, to have pressure on his knee inwards, like this. You see how I can put pressure on his knee inwards? Alright? If I keep my knee flared open, like so, I have no pressure on his knee inwards. You see how I can take out my leg every time? You guys see that? So what am I going to do? I want you to place your knee, the side of your leg, on his knee like so. So you can go this way. And as I place the side of my knee on his leg like so, look how I can put pressure on his leg. Don't put in your de la Riva hook. Practice putting pressure with de la Riva without putting your hook in. You guys see this? So place your knee on the side of his leg and put pressure on his knee. Alright? This is how you learn how to use a de la Riva hook. It isn't your foot wrapping. It's using your knee on the side. Alright? Now I'm going to talk about one more thing. Look at his foot. The position of his foot in relation to my hip line is the most relevant thing in de la Riva. Why is that? If his foot is above my hip line, like so, Noah has pressure on me. So he could knee cut me, he could leg drag me, he could do many attacks on me because he has weight physically on my hips. But besides that, look how when I try to put my foot in, it's very difficult when his foot's above my hip line. But if his foot's below my hip line, look how my foot goes in easy. You guys see that? So it's very important that you pay attention to the position of his foot on my body. I do not let his foot exceed my hip line. So my hand, which is controlling his ankle, acts as a frame as well as a hook. You guys see this? So I put my hand like so, I place my side of my knee on the side of his leg, and I wrap my foot inside. Now look how I have internal pressure on his knee. So come this way now, please. Look how I have internal pressure now on his knee. You guys see? So I back my body up where I could place pressure on the side of his knee, wrap my toes, and now I have pressure. Alright? Now my back leg. Alright? This is one of the most important parts of the move. I want you to see the back leg of de la Riva identical to collar sleeve previously. Okay? Why? When I was in collar sleeve previously, you could be standing on your knees, doesn't matter. If I was on this hip, look how Noah could take my foot off his shoulder every time. My foot is weak, right? I could swing around to place it on this hip, but the second I place it, I have to be planting my leg down. When I'm in the De La Riva position, my back leg, my hip has to be on the floor, okay? I need my hip on the floor, I need my knee in the same line, I need my foot all in the same line as well, in this square line, okay? The second my foot is out of alignment like so, take this off, push it down, look how it comes off. Now look when my hip is on the floor, take it off, it does not come off. You see how it's stapled in? This is so important, guys, when you play De La Riva, alright? I need you guys to get used to placing your hip on the floor, your knee and foot in the same line to put pressure on his hip. And directly on his hip bone, his ASIS, alright? So its hip bone is the collar sleeve position in De La Riva, alright? The same exact thing with this leg, alright? So my foot is directly in his hip bone, my hip is stapled down, and look at my body. My body is square with his head. I keep my head in the same line as his head. Why? Because now take out my De La Riva. As I keep my knees both toward my face and my head square with him, it becomes impossible for him to move my legs. Okay? So I can bring my knees in now, and as he tries to remove my legs, there's no way. If I'm on my side, remove my leg, take this off. He's able to every time. You guys see how significantly weak I am the second I angle my hips? Okay? Now there's two bases he could give me in this scenario. One, his shoulders forward like so, where my shoulders have to be on the floor. The other, his shoulders postured, where my shoulders have to come off the floor. Do you guys see the difference? Alright? All these variables we're going to be playing with when I show you guys De La Riva. I just needed you guys to first see what we're doing with De La Riva and ankle. Alright? Conceptually, it's identical to all the sleeve stuff we've been working. I just want you guys to get an idea already of what we're going to be doing. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you the most important drill that you're ever going to learn in De La Riva. Alright? It's identical drill to collar sleeve, but we do this in De La Riva as well. I do this every time I'm training, and that's how I make my legs so strong and staple them in. Okay? So watch what I'm going to do it, Noah. I'm going to be here. I'm going to end up in De La Riva with the collar grip and so like this. Alright? Notice how my feet are already perfect position. But for this drill, I'm going to not have this foot on his shoulder. Alright? It's going to be here. And if I'm on this hip, guys, if I go to my right hip, Noah's going to knee cut me all day. You guys see this? He's going to pass my guard. So the second I lose my connection of my foot to his hip, what am I going to do? I'm going to go to my side right now, like this. Alright? Now my leg is dangling in the air. It's free. I can pummel it, I can circle it, right? Just like collar sleeve. So come this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my foot in the De La Riva just to control him a little bit. I'm going to swing this leg around because I'm on my left hip. You guys see it? That my right hip is off the floor. Now my leg could swing. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple it into his hip bone again. But if I stay like this, he's going to take it off instantly again. So I swing around, I place my foot in his hip bone, I square my body up. Now I stapled it in. Now I try to move my legs off. He cannot. So it's the same thing as collar sleeve. I invest in my back leg perfectly being placed in his hip bone. Now I'm in the perfect spot to attack him. Both my knees are square with him. My head is aligned with him. Now I'll try to move my legs. He's going to feel like it's very difficult because my legs are perfectly placed on his body. So now square up with me. So we're here. I end up in De La Riva. This drill is I don't have this grip, right? So I move my leg around. I swing my leg. I swing my leg. My hip is off the floor. I staple it into his hip bone. I make my foot completely into his hip bone. You see how my foot is? Look at his hip bone and look how my foot goes completely in. Just like spider and collar sleeve like we did before, right? Now, I staple it in. The second it's stapled in, I square my hip and I place my right hip, my butt, right back onto the floor. Okay? Square. My head is aligned with him. Now I'll try to move my legs. He's going to feel like it's a very difficult thing to move my legs now. Alright? Alright, one more time. He's here. I land in De La Riva. I'm here. I can circle my leg, swinging it around, swinging it around. He doesn't even have to touch my leg. I just have to be on my left hip and swinging. I place it on his hip, I square my body, my knees come in. Now I'm square with him. And now my knees are both square with me. Alright? This is the most important drill you're going to work in De La Riva. Alright? So I want you to work this now and keep going from there. Bus. So now I'm going to show you why De La Riva and collar sleeve and all these guards are all literally the same. Alright? I'm going to show you the drill from the collar sleeve quickly, and we're going to see how it was identical to De La Riva. So, this is their knees. We're in collar sleeve with Noah here, and I'm swinging my leg, right, for the drill from before. I stapled my foot on his shoulder, I squared my body up, making my knees perfectly on his body. So then I told Noah, try to remove my foot from his shoulder. The second he tries to remove it from his shoulder, I pulled it out and I attacked it, right? Why? Because I had him in the perfect middle ground where my frames and hooks were so perfect that the second Noah touches me, he gets attacked, right? So now let's see how it works in De La Riva. So I'm going to be here with Noah. I'm going to place him in De La Riva like so. I'm going to go on my side, I'm going to swing my leg. I'm going to place it on his hip bone. I'm going to square my body up with my head directly aligned with it. Alright? Now I'm going to tell Noah, remove my back leg. The second he removes it, I'm going to do this. So he tries to remove my back leg. The second he touches it, I'm going to pull his shoulder to me. Okay? The second I pull his shoulder to me, I'm going to do this. I'm going to punch his shoulder down and sweep him to the side. His base is so compromised, the second he touches my back leg, he will fall. Because so look what's happening. I'm going to explain the mechanics. Come here. What's happening is, when his foot's here and here, and as I try to touch either the back leg or the front leg, what's happening is my weight gets transferred, right? I'm no longer facing him anymore. I'm on my side, right? But what's happening is, look how my weight goes from my toes to my heel as I do this. So my back foot, I'm on my tippy toes. My front foot, I instantly go to my heel, and I fall. You see? I have no balance once this scenario happens. You guys see that? So again, I'm here. I have the foot in, I'm swinging. I put my foot here, I'm squaring my knees. Now Noah touches my my back leg. The second he touches it, all I want you guys to do is this. I want you to pull the shoulder to me, alright? I bring his head to his foot. So come this way. This is literally like the tripod, guys, you see it? His head literally goes to his heel like this. I crunch him, and now the second his head and foot are together, all his weight goes to that heel, I see him on his tippy toes. So now I tilt him to the side, and he falls. Let's look at the tripod sweep. Stand up, please. I have the foot here and here. I have the collar. I pull his head to his leg. I sweep him down. Look how he falls. Isn't that literally the same movement? It's literally the tripod sweep, guys. But because you have the foundation of those movements, you'll do this movement perfect. Opposed to trying to learn De La Riva without that foundation, it's very hard. You guys see that? And that's why I think this DVD that I'm making is probably the best one I've made, because I was able to give you guys a foundation before learning things. I don't have to just teach you guys things on the fly, and you guys have to learn the foundation on your own. I personally made your foundation in this DVD, and now you get to do these positions after learning that foundation, you know? So I feel like this is so much easier for me to teach it because of that. All right, so again, we're here. Put on the hip, collar here. I swing my leg, I'm free, right? I place it in. I square my head with him. Now he touches my leg. I pull his shoulder to me, right? I pull his shoulder to his foot. Look at this. So as I pull his shoulder to his foot, what am I doing? I'm trying to place his weight from his toes to his heel, just like the tripod. I go here, here, and now look. As he's here, look how he's hopping, right? So I just make his shoulder go to his foot, and now I'm just going to punch his shoulder down. And look how he falls every time. Okay, see that? So again, here, I'm here. De La Riva, I swing my leg. I place it in, I square my body. He moves it. I pull his shoulder to his foot. Now I punch it down, and he will fall. And I hook, and I come up. Alright? So focus on when you're holding the collar and pulling the shoulder, you're pulling it to his foot like this. That instantly puts all my weight on my hip and butt. Now, when I punch the shoulder, look how he falls. Again, it's literally the basic tripod sweep, alright? So I want you to work this now, and we'll keep going from there. So now we're going to discuss the next part of De La Riva that, again, nobody teaches this. This is all stuff I figured out throughout the years, okay? I worked really hard on figuring out these things, all right? And this is going to be the collar grip, all right? I remember when I was younger, I would ask a lot of people, hey, how do I keep the collar grip in De La Riva? Everyone keeps breaking my grip. And I've gotten responses, you just have to be stronger, you're too weak, you know? So I really obsessed about how I can make my collar grip better besides physically getting stronger, because I knew that wouldn't work for me with all the bigger people I train with, alright? So look at this. When I hold a collar grip, if I hold it 4 fingers like so, angle this way. If I hold the collar grip 4 fingers like so, Noah breaks my grip, it's easy for him, right? It's not easy. I could be stronger than him. I could physically use strength on that collar grip to keep it, right? But the thing is, I only have one hook on it. My 4 fingers hooking around his collar, alright? So now what I'm going to do is something else. I'm going to think in my mind, how can I make it that I have more than one hook? How can I make it that I have more than one thing exceeding his body on its collar? I'm going to create 2 hooks. How? When I hold this collar, I'm going to turn my hand like so. And I'm going to make a hook with my thumb and my pointing finger. Alright, like so. This is going to be my first hook I'm going to create. So it's going to be like this. Alright? Now, no one can break this, right? Because it's 1 hook. Just like before. 1 hook. But now look what I'm going to do. After I make this 1 hook, I'm going to take my other 3 fingers. I'm going to make another hook behind it like so. So now what happened? Let's angle this way so they can see this. So look at my fingers now. So now what happened? Now I have 2 hooks on the collar instead of 1. So when Noah goes to break it, he's going to find it significantly more difficult. Because now he has to go through 2 hooks instead of 1. You guys see how much more efficient this is? And I'm not squeezing my hand at all. I'm not pulling. I'm not doing all this stuff that people told me I had to do to play De La Riva, you know? All I do is relax my hand, I make a thumb up, and I turn my fingers toward my wrist like this. Alright? This is how you know you're doing it right. I have 1 hook like this, the second hook with my 3 fingers. Alright? And this is what gives me control in the collar when I'm doing this. So now try to break it. It's very difficult for him. Alright? So now let's go to De La Riva. Stand up, please. I do our drill from before. I swing my leg. I place it in. I bring my hips square. Now I'm square with him. Now I turn my hand like this. Now I tell him, try to break my collar grip. He's going to find it very difficult too. Alright? So now let's do a position from here. What am I going to do now? I'm going to tell him, break my collar grip. The second he goes to break my collar grip, look what I'm going to do. Side sweep. Again. Why? Literally the drill I just showed you guys before when he tried to take off my back leg, right? It's such a tight position for him that he's stuck so bad in the middle ground. The second he touches me, he falls, alright? The second he touches me like this, look how I'm able to put him in the ankle pick again and make him fall, alright? So again, we're here. I'm in De La Riva. I'm here. My foot's in, I'm swinging my leg. I place it in, I square my body, I flick my hand, and I make these 2 hooks on his collar. I wait for him to break my collar because I know he's going to. The second he does, all I'm going to do is pull his head toward his foot. Here, and now I'm going to sweep him to the side. And now I'm going to come up and sweep him. Alright? One more time. Swing my leg. I place my foot on his hip. I square my body. I flick my wrist. Now I tell him to break my grip. I sweep him to the side. I sweep. I come up. One more time. Tell him to break my grip on I first swing my leg, sorry. I place my foot on the hip, I square my body, I flick my wrist, he tries to break it, I sweep him to the side. Alright? So, it's the ankle pick again. It's the ankle pick tripod again. Head to foot, they fall. Their hip falls, alright? So I want you to work this now, and we'll keep going from there. Buzz. Alright guys, so now I'm going to show you another variation from this position. Alright? This time my opponent is not going to touch me. He's just going to stay still. Because he feels like the second he touches me, he's going to fall. Alright? So look what I'm going to do. I'm going to be here in Noah. I'm going to set up the De La Riva like I explained to you guys. I hook the leg, I swing my leg, I place it, I flick my wrist. Okay? Now my head is square with him, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to try to begin moving his weight from his heel to his toes to overhead sweep him. He's going to sit on his butt back, alright? What does that mean for us? The second he sits back and I know I'm square with him, I can sit up like so. Alright, so move this way, please. I try to pull, he sits up, I sit up like so. It's the same as collar sleeve, right? So now look, I'm going to angle my head from square to his shoulder. It doesn't matter if he's holding my collar, it's even easier. Now the second I'm square with him on his shoulder, I'm going to fall down, bring his head to his body, and he's going to fall to the side. Alright? And now I'm going to come up. So again, I'm here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to try to overhead him. He's going to put weight back. I'm going to sit up. Make my head from square to his shoulder. Pull it forward, and now I'm going to sweep him to the side. Alright? And now I'm going to come up. Guys, you cannot punch his shoulder away from me. Come up. When I'm sweeping Noah, stand up please, in De La Riva, I do not punch his shoulder away from him. If I do this, I'm helping him stay up. You guys see this? The second I pull his shoulder to his foot, and then punch, now his weight's on his heel, he falls. You guys see the difference? So I need you guys to realize that. And I'm seated with him now. I angle my head to the side, pulling it forward and punching it. This drill is designed to keep reinforcing all the concepts you just learned. Alright? And this is another time we're switching from being square to the side. It's literally this sweep again. The one that we did here. And I bring his head to the side and I sweep him, right? It's literally the same one. Now I'm doing it from here. I'm square. I change here. I swing. I go square. I try to lift. He puts me back. I sit up. I change my head from square to the side. I pull his shoulder to me. And now I punch it. And now he falls. Alright? So I want you guys to work this now, using this to sweep him to the side. Bus. So before we conclude this style of De La Riva, I'm going to show you one more concept. It's going to follow the rules that you learned in the beginning of the series. And then I'm going to just have you guys work this concept every second. Alright? So watch. Gonna be here with Noah. It's going to be the same move you just learned previously. Swinging my leg, placing my foot in, square with him. Alright? But now there's going to be two reactions from Noah. One, he's going to go Toriano grips on my legs and keep his shoulders forward. The other, he's going to posture up like so. The second Noah postures up like so, every time he does, I'm going to bring my head up. I'm going to pull forward, and then I'm going to do the sweep from before. You guys see this? Why? Because he brought his head up. He postured his shoulders up, so I bring my shoulders up. You guys see this? The second he postures, I bring my shoulders forward. And his shoulders are back, my shoulders are forward. He brings his shoulders forward, I bring my shoulders back. And now look. Head, and now I can bring his shoulder to his foot every time, look. And now I can punch him down. Come up, please. Now also, when we're here, and now he postures up, I sit up. Now I can bring his head to his shoulders and sweep him to the side. Do you guys see that? So conceptually, it remains identical to what I showed you previously. I just need you guys to recognize that. If he starts posturing up like this, I need you guys to start sitting up on your elbow to perform the same action, opposed to staying on your head on the floor. So again, look at my head. So I just look at him. My head, I'm facing his shoulders now. He has Toriano grips. His shoulders are forward, right? I put my head on the floor. Instantly pulling his shoulder to his foot. Now I bring his knees to his chest and I sweep him to the side. One. The second one, I'm here. He postures up. If I keep my head on the floor, look how weak my hand is. He could break my grip every time. You guys see this? So I need to keep the same pressure I have on the collar. So the second he postures up, I come up on my elbow a little bit. I bring his head to his heel again. And now I sweep him down. Do you guys see that? If you do not recognize this concept, you will have trouble in De La Riva. Because typically, you're losing De La Riva because the person's doing one of these things and you're doing the wrong response, alright? Typically, this is what happens. People have Toriano grips in De La Riva, and I'll stay sitting up like this and I'll take out my hooks. I'll be very weak right now. But now when he tries to take out my hooks, look. Now look how he falls. You guys see the difference? So, head to the floor when he brings his shoulders forward. When he postures, immediately head up. And now I can sweep him the same way. We're doing the basic tripod, alright? So, this is just a video for you guys to understand that concept a little more. Listen. So now this is going to be an introduction to a new style of De La Riva that we play. This is going to start teaching you guys about guard in general, and watch what's going to happen. Alright? I'm going to be here with Noah. I'm going to be playing De La Riva. And he's going to break my collar grip. And he's going to posture up really tall. Alright? So now, the question is, do I grab his collar again? How? Like, look how far away his collar is. What do? Do I come up here and grab his collar? Like, I can't. It's so far away, right? So now, what I want you guys to learn is this. When your partner stands up and postures like this, he puts all the weight of his body onto his legs. Okay? So now, I want you to think of his legs as a whole separate body from his torso. Alright? Now, there's a new collar grip on his body. What is that? It's his belt. Okay? A lot of people ask me, when I'm playing De La Riva with their shoulders forward, how I grab the belt here. And the answer is I don't. Because this isn't the belt grip here. If I go to grab the belt here, Noah's shoulders are forward. I'm very weak here. You see how weak I am? So I play De La Riva on his collar here. But now when he breaks my grip and postures up, this is the collar grip. Look how easy it is for me to have this collar grip. Alright, so come this way now. But I need you guys to understand something. The way I grab this belt grip is very important. You'll see a lot of people teach to grab the belt grip going on their side like this and sitting up. Take out my De La Riva. I'm still going to do this. Look how weak I am. Look, I can barely sit up. Look how weak I am. What do I have to do? I have to be on both hips on the floor like so to sit up, all right? My head is aligned with his hip right here, and then I'm able to sit up, all right? So I make my hips directly square with each other, like so. I keep my deli hiva strong, like this, and with my knees in. Now I'm on my elbow, and I sit up like this to grab his belt. You guys see this? I don't have to use any flexibility or anything here to sit up. It's just simply like this. My nose to his belt. My elbow touches the floor, and I just do this. Okay? When he's posturing, this is very easy to do because all his weight's on his legs, so I hang off of it with my feet. I use my deli hiva hook that's in, and I use my foot on his hip that's in to do this. Alright? That's all I'm doing. Alright, so again, I'm here in deli hiva, lean down, I'm here, he breaks my collar grip. I stretch his body and I sit up. I stretch his body, it might help me sit up, alright? Higher level people, they don't have to stretch. If I'm flexible enough, I can just do it like this. But if you're not as flexible, you can kick his leg a little bit to help you sit up. And now I have the belt, alright? So this video was to introduce the belt grip, and now I'm going to show you attacks from there. So now I'm going to show you our first attack from here, and you're going to see how we use this belt grip identical to a collar, alright? It's just it's closer to his hip, right? It's literally on his hip, and it just gives us even more control of his body once he's posturing, alright? So watch. Here we go. We're going to do the same drill as before. Swinging my leg, I place it in. I have the collar grip. I'm flicking my wrist. He breaks my grip. I couldn't keep it. Now I'm here. I straighten my leg a little bit. I keep my elbow on the floor. I keep my head square. My hips are square. I can't sit up on my side. If I sit up on my side, I'm extremely weak. I keep my hips square. Now I sit up and hold the belt like so. Alright? So now what are we going to do? We're going to use the concept of gravity from before. Alright? Remember when I was in collar sleeve? Go on your knees, please. And we were here. And I was trying to pull his elbow off his body, right? And I opened it, and then I backed up to move his elbow off his body, right? Remember this? So now look what I'm doing in deli hiva here. I'm doing the same thing. So as I have his belt here, and I'm sitting up, I'm going to use gravity to my favor, because I want to bring his hip to my face, all right? That's what I'm thinking about doing. So I'm pulling it to my face, and I'm bringing his knee bent as well, all right? So watch. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. I'm going to pull his hip to my face, and look what's going to happen to his foot. So this way, please. The second I pull his hip to my face and his foot goes to this, now he's on his tippy toes, right? What does that mean? That means we could tomonagi overhead sweep him, right? So what are we going to do? I'm going to stay here, and now what I'm going to do is, I could stay on his ankle like so, or I could change to the end of the lever, which is his heel now, and I could grab it like so. Now I can lift it up and sweep him forward, all right? The second I sweep him forward, what I'm going to do is, higher level people, they can do berimbolo. For fundamentals, no. You can do cool things with berimbolo, but right now we're just going to sweep him, alright? So what are we going to do? I'm going to bring my knee in. I'm going to open my body. And I'm going to come up here, alright? So look what I have. I have a grip on his belt like so. I put my leg in here, and I just come up here, alright? And now I'm safe. Do not come up with this leg out. You get triangled, right? So we're going to keep his leg inside our legs like so. I'm going to come up, I'm going to grab the collar, and I'm going to be safe here. Alright, so again, I'm here, I'm holding the collar, I swing, I place it, he breaks my grip. I sit up, I grab the belt. I pull his hip and knee to me like so. His heel is now he's on his toes, right? So this one, please. The second I see him on his toes, that means I can launch him, right? So all I'm going to do is I can hold the heel, or I can stay on his ankle, no problem. I'm going to pull his hip to my face, like this. And that's going to make him fall. Now I'm just going to make my legs shallow here. And now I'm going to come up into this position here. Over, under, or half heart. Alright, one more time. Right here. Here. Deli hiva. He breaks my collar grip. I sit up and grab it. I pull his hip to me. And now I pull him over me. Alright guys, so I want you to work this now. Oh, keep going from there. Alright guys, so now we're going to get into the second variation of this position. Again, we're on our side, right? So this is the side sweeps, right? But now what I want you guys to notice is something's going to happen. I'm trying to get him onto his tippy toes, right? What is Noah's natural response when I'm trying to get him on his tippy toes? You guys would answer that for me if you were here. He would transfer his weight to his heel, right? The second he transfers his weight to his heel, what does that mean he's doing? That means he's making his butt exceed his body again. You see? So the second he makes his butt exceed his body, now he has weight on his heel again. So now I can't put him on his toes anymore. What does that mean for us? The tripod happens and he falls. Alright? So watch. I'm gonna be here with Noah. I'm gonna be here. De Hiva drill. Collar, leg, swing my leg. Place it on his hip, I square up with it. He breaks my grip. I stretch. I sit up on my elbow, I grab his hip. So now I'm doing the drill from before. Right? I'm doing the drill. I'm pulling him forward. I'm trying to bend it. He puts weight on his heel. I feel this happen. So now what am I going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring his hip to I'm going to bring his butt to his heel like this. And now I'm just going to push him to the side. And he's going to fall. You guys see this? You see how instantly he falls when we do this? This way. It's interesting because it's the same concept, but now we're just grabbing instead of the collar, the hip, right? So now I end up in this spot here. And how you come up here, there's many different ways you can. I can hook his body and just come up here. I can stay here, step on his hip, keeping my foot on his hip like so. Grab the single leg, come up here. There's many different ways you can. Just hold the leg and come up safe, all right? Again. And here, I'm swinging my leg. I place it on his hip. I square my body up. He breaks my grip. I sit up. I hold the belt, okay? I start pulling it to me. He keeps weight back. The second I feel his weight back, I'm going to punch his hip, and look how he starts falling. You guys see how instantly he falls because he keeps his weight on his heel, all right? So he falls here. I hook his leg, and I can come up smooth here, all right? So again. He breaks my grip. I sit up. I hold. I bend. He keeps strong. I scoot him to the side. All right, now I'm here. I hook the hip. I come up. I pull him forward. All right? So this is the concept of tippy toes versus heel. The second I feel the heel happen, we can sweep him to the side. All right? So I want you to work this now and keep going from there. All right, guys. So I just showed you 2 sweeps from this belt control. Now we're going to get into a back take. All right? This position is probably my favorite to take the back. I use this all the time. I won Black Belt Worlds Finals many times with these scenarios, okay? And I took the back holding the belt and everything, all right? It's a very good spot for taking the back, all right? So now what I want to show you is, as I'm applying the sweep, Noah is going to change his base. All of a sudden, he's not going to be looking at me anymore, all right? So all this stuff was working really well when Noah's keeping his torso toward me. Noah's going to recognize that and alter his torso looking away, all right? The second he does this, he's going to be changing boxes on me. And if I didn't recognize this, I would be stuck trying to sweep somebody that's really hard to sweep. So now, I'm going to be in the back take box, all right? And this is going to be the first back take I show you guys where you're flanking around your partner from the outside. I showed you guys a flank around the partner from the inside. Now we're flanking around the partner from the outside. And again, back takes are on the side-to-side series, right? We're on the sides of him. We're not facing him anymore. We're not square with him, all right? So watch. I'm going to be here with Noah. I'm going to be doing everything we did before. De Hiva, my legs swinging, I place it in. I grab the collar, I square my body. He breaks my collar grip. I stretch and I grab the belt like so. All right, let's move this way. So I tried doing everything from before. I pull his foot in, everything. But Noah stays looking that direction. Look, his hip physically starts looking at my face. Do you guys see this? Go to your knees, please. It's like when we were here and I told you flanking around your partner. If he physically was like this direction, how easy is it for me to just do this? I can just go around him, right? He's no longer facing me. Facing me, I have to do sweeps side to side or forward and back. But when he changes his angle this way, where now I'm aligned with his hip and body here, I can flank around him. So that's what's happening when I'm in this spot. So stand up, please. I have the belt. I'm here with Noah. And I'm in this spot here. This way, yeah. I'm here. Now my head is facing his hip, look. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take my right foot. I'm just going to step it on the floor. I'm going to walk around him. I'm going to walk around him. Change this way, please. No, just move your leg. Yeah. A little less. A little less here. Now I'm in this spot here. Look. I'm going to walk around him. I'm going to place my back hook on this back leg here. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to grab his back leg like so. I could underhook it. This is a superior grip because I have volume behind his leg. Or I can just grab it like so. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to move my body out. I'm going to place my foot in like so. I'm going to square my body up, controlling both hips. I'm going to pull him forward and stretch him back. Alright? So again, this way, I'm here. Delahiva, I'm here, I'm swinging my leg, I place it in, he breaks my grip. I sit up, I stretch. I get to this spot. He angles that way. He's looking the other way, guys. That's when I know I'm going to take the back. Alright? So, there's many advanced ways for me to swing around him. And it has to do with him anchoring himself. So I can swing around him like this. Okay? But this is a fundamental series. So I'm going to stick with one basic way. I'm just going to have you guys take your right foot, step on the floor. Walk around him. Walk around him. Place your foot on his back leg. Grab the back leg like so. Put my hook in. Square my body up. Grabbing both sides of his hips. Not the square center of his hip. The sides. I pull him up and I stretch him back. And now I get a seatbelt and I take his back. Alright, so again, we're here. I move my leg, I go here. He breaks my grip, I sit up, I grab the belt. He looks that way, look. The second he looks that way, I just step on the floor and I go around him. I go around him. Grab the back leg, foot in, square your body. I grab both of his hips. I pull him forward and I stretch. And now I take the back. One more time. One more time. Alright guys, so I want you to work this now, and we'll keep going from there. So now I'm going to show you guys how going between the back take box actually gives us the best sweeps. So, watch what's going to happen. I'm going to be here with Noah. I'm going to be doing everything from before. Swinging my leg, here, square, he breaks my grip, I sit up, I go here, he looks the other way. I start placing my foot on the floor and moving. Noah recognizes this and starts facing me, looking at me. The second he looks at me, look how I'm going to be able to sweep him down to the floor. You guys see this? I could have my foot on his hip, or I could just be stepping. He's going to fall. Why does that happen? The reason being is, every time I'm doing this position, I want you to notice Noah's hips. They become this way when he looks that way. The second Noah starts looking at me, he misaligns his spine with his body. The second I see this, I'm able to sweep him because his body is misaligned. You guys see that? So, one of the best ways to actually sweep somebody is to attempt to flank around them and take their back. Alright? That's actually the best way to sweep someone. Because every time you do this, for the person to defend the back take, they give you the sweep. They don't mean to, but they have to in order to defend the back take. Because you're flanking around them. And in order for them to face you, they compromise the alignment of their spine. And then we can sweep them every time. Alright? So, watch. Here with Noah. Delahiva, swinging my leg, I place it in, he breaks my grip, belt. He angles out, I go here, he looks at me, look. As he looks at me, I sweep him down. And now he falls just like before, and I come up however I want here. You guys see that? So again, I'm here. Delahiva, place my foot in, I square, he breaks the grip, I grab the belt, I'm here. I step on the floor, he faces me. I push him down, I just have to tap his body. It doesn't matter if my foot's on his stomach, on the floor. This scenario, it doesn't matter. As long as he looks at me and I was flanking around him, I could do this sweep. And now I can come up here. Alright? So I want you guys to work this now, and we'll keep going from there. Bust.